Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our album review of 3 by Walg. So Walg, it's a pretty unknown band. I've never heard of them before. Nobody's ever mentioned them before. They got not that many listens on Spotify in comparison to a lot of the bands we listen to. But we checked them out last week in our new releases video and decided to review the album. So we spent a week with it. I enjoyed it quite a bit through the week, I gotta say. Now, if I were to describe this band to somebody and they said, "Oh, who's Walg? What's Walg?" You mentioned last week that they sounded like Dimmu Borgir, or they remind you of Dimmu Borgir, and I agree with that. They definitely have a Dimmu Borgir vibe to them. But they also have a bit of a Karakengren vibe, they have a bit of a Marduk vibe, they have a bit of a Rammstein vibe. So they have all these different kind of things that make you go, "Oh, it reminds me of this and that." But it never sounds like it's ripping any of those bands off, which is a major plus because I hate it when bands sound like they're ripping other bands off. I don't mind hearing inspiration or hearing likenesses, but I don't like rip-offs. This band, or this album, I did not feel like I heard anything that was a direct rip-off, which was a major plus for me. Because I like all those other bands, so sounding like them is all good. So this is a Dutch band. Their name translates to disgusted, and that's via Google Translator, which is sometimes a hit or miss, so I might be wrong about that, but it's Google's fault, not mine.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, it sounds like a cool band name, you know?
It does. Except when you type in Walg in Google, you're going to get Walgreens as a result first. So you got to type in Walg band if you want to look these guys up. Most of their lyrics are in Dutch or Afrikaans, which is, a derivative of Dutch. There's some German in there. Again, this is all per Google Translate. Not sure how accurate it is. But, I don't know, let me just get into some songs that I like. Might as well do that. Number one song, same as last week, track number 6, Heart Loose, which translates to heartless. Makes a lot of sense. I would have guessed that. The riff in this song is just deadly. Like, I don't know what it is. This song just outshines the rest of the album. And I like how the song starts off with the riff undistorted, but then when it plays during the choruses, it just gets heavy and is distorted with some bass, some thick bass accompanying it, to give it a nice full and like beefy sound. The song is also in 6/8, which is cool. I don't know I didn't really count every song, but I think that sounded unique to me. And I also like how it ends, how it begins. It's got that bookend, which we always like. It's very tasty when songs do that. Song right after that, Labyrinth, which translates to
Labyrinth.
Bingo, easy one. That's Welsh, according to Google. So there's another language for you. This is one of the ones that has that Dimmu Borgir vibe, and for me, it's mainly in the riffs because it's got this it's like a chuggy riff that ends with a high note at the end. It really gives it like a sinister, menacing, evil kind of vibe, which is what a lot of these bands are really going for, and they nail it on this one. There's a cool, interesting whistle type instrument in the bridge area, where there's also this seance, ritualistic type of chant going on. I never know what to call those things. They sound like Tibetan monks to me. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's got, the tremolo picking, melodic guitar riding out into fade out, just a lot of cool elements that are all combined into the one song. Really like that. Without going into too much details, Zeilenlied, which is track number 3, which translates to target lead in German, whatever that means. That's another one that I liked. What else was there? I liked all the songs pretty much. I'm just naming the ones that were basically highlights. But what did I not like about this album? I think my biggest criticism is the fact that a lot of the songs do sound a bit samey same. I mean, they have their variety in them. There's different vocal varieties. But I don't know, the songs I listed stand out amongst the rest, and the rest are kind of just a set on their own. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I feel. And I feel like that's a bit of a big downfall. You want kind of more stuff to stand out.
Yeah, generally I did enjoy this album throughout the week, and there are a few songs that did stand out to me, like, that were note-taking worthy. One of which being Gesselberg. Did you look that one up? What does that translate to?
Gesselberg.
Oh, that's just the name of a place.
It didn't really. It translated to something. It translated to a different spelling of Gesselberg, which I think is Geiselberg, which I think is just the name of a place.
Okay,
But it was a straight
fair enough.
translation.
It starts with a didgeridoo. How many metal songs have one of those in them?
Probably more than you think, but yeah,
More
you
than
don't, you don't
but
catch it very often.
It's not often. It's not often. I also like how that song kicks in with the melodic stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like first, I like that. That's pretty cool. And near the, I'm not sure if it was near the end, but there's also some cool throat singing which is layered underneath the regular vocals, which I also thought was cool. There's a lot of depth there, and I like that. And I find that there's generally a lot of cool vocal depth with the cleans and the harshes. I think that's really cool. Paradis, or Paradis, is that Paradise?
Yes.
There we go.
Some of them are easy.
So yeah, there's organ in that song, and that stood out to me every time that song came up throughout the shuffle and going through just front to back. Like that consistently pointed out, like, oh yeah, there's the cool organ again. A small thing about the singer, and it's cool that you mentioned Karak Angren because Saragor does this too. The way that the singer rolls his R's kind of reminded me of how Saragor would do the same thing. Maybe that's just a Dutch thing. Both bands are Dutch. So I don't know. That's a cool connection I kind of made. I like that. Every time I heard it, like, yeah, it's a cool R. So I like that too. Another general thing about the vocals that I liked is the sound of despair in this singer's voice. Like you really feel a lot of the pain. Despair is really like the best descriptor for it.
I agree.
But you get that a lot throughout the album, and it's a really nice. It's a really nice sound because it gives such character to the voice.
It gives weight to the music.
It does. I guess the main kind of issue I tended to have, it was kind of samey, but my issue is that nothing really stood out as fantastic. There's all these cool things I found, but there was no real song that stood out like, whoa, that song is insane. I gotta listen to that again. I gotta add it to my playlist. Like, nothing really did that. It's just a lot of songs had cool things about them, but nothing as a complete song package really, like, blew my mind or anything. And that's kind of the main issue I had, but overall, I still enjoyed it. I did not get bored of this album. It was fun to put on, but nothing really just was incredible.
Did any songs make it into your playlist?
None.
No?
Not after the week. And you know what? We give these albums a week, but you never know. 5 months down the road, I might throw this album on and be like, oh wow, that song is sick, I gotta add it. Or maybe
it happens all the time.
When we're considering our year end and I listen to this again, you never know. Maybe half the album will go to my playlist, who knows.
Yeah.
But as it stands after a week, none of them do.
Yeah, one more thing I'll mention that I thought was interesting is the first track and the last track, which are intros and outros, they're actually connected, I guess lyrically or thematically. So the first track, I'm going to try saying it in Dutch. I think it's Wanneer we toegeven, which is when we give in. And then the last track is Dat we monsters zijn, and it's that we are monsters. So it's a loose translation, but when we give in, then we are monsters is basically the connection there. I also thought it was funny that on this channel we give out toe tags as like a prestigious award for albums, and the first track is called Wanneer we toegeven, which to me almost sounds like please give me a toe tag. So I thought that was a little bit funny, just a little bit of a weird thing like that. Also, just to put this out there is a cover song on the end of the album, Dimmy Borgir's Morning Palace. We don't include cover songs, so I basically skipped this song for most of the week. I did listen to it a couple times to check it out. It's a really good cover.
It's a good cover, yeah.
But we don't include that in our scoring, so it's a 10-track album for us. Anything else you want to add?
That's just about it. Let's get to ratings.
All right, so I think this is a super strong album. I think it has, a lot of cool elements, especially for a band that is not that well known. I think they deserve more recognition. However, there's just not a lot of that spark that I really need to give an album a toe tag, so it's going to miss the mark by a bit. But super strong still. I'm going to give this 7. 2 songs went in my playlist. That's Heart Loose and Labyrinth. They're back-to-back songs, awesome songs. I wish I felt that way about at least 1 or 2 more songs and it would have been in that toe tag territory, but it just missed the mark for me.
Close but no dice. As for myself, I feel generally the same. This is a solid album, and I think the band definitely deserves more recognition. This is enjoyable to listen to. If you like the Borgir or any of the other bands that Val mentioned, you will like this album too, and they stand out. They don't sound like knockoffs of anybody. They feel like their own thing, and you can just hear their inspiration. However, I found that there wasn't really too much in this album that really jumps out as you gotta listen to this song, so it's gonna get a 6.5 from me.
So that's it. 7 from me, 6.5 from TV Fish. You guys check this album out and let us know in the comments below if you agree with our scores or what score you would give it. And yeah, it's probably a new band for a lot of you guys, so have a listen. Anyways, guys, that's it for this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
I'll see you guys on the next video.